All right, there we are. All right, so guys, we're back. We're still working on this PS4, and I did find a problem. So what I found is on this side of the HDMI port, you can see that here's the port, and right here had a short. So yesterday we were fighting with this PS4 to get it to work, and I couldn't figure out why I can't get it to work. So I just figured out what it was. I just started probing around. That's all I did, and I found the issue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna replace the. I've already lost one of them because I have the donor PS4s right next to me. So I've already lost one of those. Don't want to lose. And I just lost the other one. So it was the. Let me just. I don't think these ones are bad. So let's just come off the board. You could always test before removing those components, though. I just didn't because I'm just in a rush now. I'm trying to get them done. But always test your components before you remove them. Transfer them to which takes so much heat. But most of the time, you guys see me. Home. I just, I don't know, 420. Just, I don't like to put too much on these boards because, like I said, sometimes this green coating will start coming off because it's just too much. One, and once I get the second one on there, I'll make those look a little bit better on the board. But for now, I'm just trying to get them off this board and board that replace the HDMI port and replace the retimer. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the retimer back on that was on there before. That should be, and the HDMI port will just start time and load the AC port back in place. Okay. Let's put some bucks. We'll just finish touching those up, and that will be it. Test to make sure that we don't have any short. Let's just wick that off the board. Okay, those look good. Let's get our let's put our encoder on first. And the reason why I'm going to put the encoder on first is because if I don't, then when I start putting the HDMI port on, it'll start melting the port, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and just test those points again, which if you go back and watch yesterday's video, you'll see that we had a short here, a short here, okay? Or here, yeah. So here, fine, and here, and it was over here on these two. No longer have that short. So I think this thing will work. That is the right encoder. We'll remove this small tip and we'll put a bigger one. So let's get it. And if this is your first time doing these, stay away from energy drinks. And once you get used to sharing these, have an energy drink before, but not until you get a hang of it, because energy drink with repair is not the wave. Okay, that's on pretty good. It might lift a little bit once we go to put this HDMI port in. This one. So we got to take the tip off. I'm waiting for it to cool down. Then we'll take the tip off. Actually, you know what? Let's put some solder on all of this. And that way we lower the melting temperature. So when we go to put my port in, it'll fall in place. Won't be too much fighting with it. That's good. I don't need to do any more than that. That's enough to get the to lower the melting temperature of the original solder that's on the board. Okay? And we're gonna what I'm doing right now is you guys can't see that is I'm just up the board from the backside to kind of get the I have these four main ground for the HDMI port. I'm just heating the whole board up. And that's what it looks like. Okay, test these. Need to touch up a few pins and we should be good. Hopefully it's not as bad as the other one yesterday that I was doing, that I was fighting with. And the only reason why I don't think it will be is because we don't have any rip pads. So the HDMI port that I was putting in yesterday that had all those, it's gonna be a lot harder because you have gamma trace. When you don't, go by a lot faster. If I can get solder to stick to the tip of my iron, good, but oh, get it to stick to the tip. I don't know where the have. There we go. Tip refresher. That's what it's called. It's I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm missing on how to keep my iron from like this that it hit solder. I think that's what I'm missing. So it's something for me to learn. Before I used to keep a little bit of solder on my iron from kind of like oxidizing, I guess. Then after a while, I didn't have any problems with it, back to not leaving solder on there for whatever reason. And if you're having a hard time solder, you can use some hot air. Just turn it down to about, I'm gonna say 200, 200 degrees Celsius, and you should. All right, let's just get the bigger, this one, three tip. Uh, Cut that piece of the braid off. Right here, it's not taking water. All right, so we're gonna have to use hot air in order to get this thing to move. I'm using a smaller nozzle. Okay, those look really, really good. Let's just test to make sure that we don't have any short amongst these. And then we can test. I'm not sure why it's shorted now. Shorted, but I thought I tested it before I put this on. Let's remove that chip and see if that chip is also shorted. Because this looks like the old one that was on there before, and it could possibly be shorted, and it's causing that. If not, then we have to the HDMI port again, see what's going on. I could have sworn I tested it. But maybe that was just when I was showing you guys where we're shorted. Okay, let's test. So the encoder is shorted. So encoder on this side. So and that's short. They're not reading a short right now. Crazy. Because it just was when it's on the board, it was just shorted. You have no short now. Put it on one of these are bad? Oh, if I check on one of these boards, okay, so that's normal. That's normal. So let's continue to put this camera back on. For a few seconds. We're just gonna come back and we're just up one more time. Make sure it's in place. Hold it down for a few seconds. Looks a little crooked. Just a little bit. So we'll just put a little bit of flux down again, and then we'll just lightly tap it, get it to straighten up. Okay, that should be good. Take another look. For the most part, that's good. Just press down and add the heat. All that flux. Squeeze the flux out of it. Yeah, Mike, this is a fun job, Mike. Most of the time it is. Sometimes you get jobs that are no fun, like a PS5 that I have here, and it's like roach infested. Um, that's not cool. But for the most part, this is a cool job. Uh, get to work on consoles. You get to see consoles that you'll probably never own, also, but you get to fix them. And if you're, lucky enough, where you live in an area where those consoles might be getting sold on like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, you can buy one and fix it, so on and so forth. I've gotten a lot of cool consoles like that just from the marketplace, and just having this self knowledge, I've been able to fix them. A, keep them for myself or resell them. Keep them all. I have a few PS5s for sale right now because I have so many of them. Like that. And hopefully it got through the other side. And no, you can see those holes are craters, or they're holes, they're going down. You don't want these going down. You want them to have solder coming off the other end. Sometimes you don't get it right. Gotta add some. what we'll probably do is we'll probably heat it up from the other side one more time and see if we can get it to kind of solder that we just put in kind of flow through the hole and then get to the other side and just one solid connect. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like this sometimes work, like that where it kind of just that's what you want. Try it over here. Sometimes pushing against it like that kind of forces the solder to once it liquefied to kind of like pushes up into like a bubble and then pop through the other side. Sometimes, not all the time. So let's finish filling this right here. Go. And maybe it'll pop through this side once. That's all right. Not perfect by any means, but I'm not here. I'm not the manufacturer, like I always say. I'm just repairing it, and I just need to get it to about 99%. Console will work for a long time. Wow. So we're back to having. So is the short itself? Okay, so remember when we change these two diodes, short went away. Okay, and since I put the encoder back on, short came back. So I think the encoder is bad. So when I take this encoder off, I'm gonna test one more time just to make sure. So encoder is off. Yep. So encoder is shorted. Okay. So this is also bad. Every time I put it on, we get a short. Easiest way to tell. We have another one here. One motor here that we took off yesterday. Let's just throw this one away before it gets mixed. Another encoder. Put this one on and let's see what happens. I'm trying to keep the heat away from my. So try this one. Trying to find an angle that's comfortable. That's one of the important things about soldering is finding a comfortable. Like if you play keyboard and mouse gaming, it's very similar to that. It's like you have to have your elbow on the desk, all that stuff. Let's just test and see if we still get a beep. Don't get a beep, then we'll move on to the next part, which is just kind of making sure that everything is connected up properly. Here we go, no beep. Okay, so now let's check the coder to make sure that all the pins are making a good connection. A little bit higher on this side. The whole center is not making a connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this way and just kind of get a good. That's not bad. I mean, it's still a little crooked from this side. It could be pushed forward more, but I think it'll work out. I think it'll work out. So let's go ahead and let's test it in the console and let's see what happens here. I'm not even cleaning up the whole area yet because, like I said, if I don't have it working properly, I'm still going to be working in the area, and that would just have me going back and forth cleaning. Um, then I'm going to listen to the alcohol sizzle whenever I go back with a soldering iron or anything like that, and then it kind of gets, just being honest with you, it gets scary when you hear the popping from the alcohol because you're thinking like overheated the board and the board might be bubbling up. But usually that's not the case. It's just the alcohol, but it just sounds kind of, you just kind of get scared like, oh man, I just job, which was more easy. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. If you hear some popping, don't immediately get worried about that you ruin it. Sometimes if you up afterwards, just the alcohol that's kind of bubbling. Because I remember my first time when I put alcohol on the board up my work area, I heard the alcohol. I was like, "Oh man, game over." And then once I got the board, once I removed the heat, tested it, and I noticed that everything was working, I was like, "What could it be?" And then it happened a few more times before I realized what was happening. So now I don't worry about it, but I'm just getting, letting you guys know that if you are doing this and you hear some popping, um, usually it's the alcohol. Board is not toasted. Okay. And like I said, I need to install the capture card so I can, guys, what's happening on. Go ahead and let's turn this thing. Okay, and we have power light on, but we don't have the display changing yet. Oh, there we go. It wasn't plugged all the way in. I think if I remember correctly, I need to put the drive in. You don't have to drive in. It doesn't even display like it doesn't go to safe mode because you don't have the drive in. If I remember correctly, I don't think it does anything. drive in, then we'll power it up. Here we go. I don't have any display yet, so, and it's at the white light, still no signal. No signal still. So we still have no display. There's still no display. So we've removed the short, and if the encoder wasn't right, I don't think the console would start up. But let's take it apart one more time. Because I think what was also happening was that drive was not spinning up. But that's something for me to tackle later on if that is the case. Because the other shop was telling me that the customer really wanted their that I would try my best, but if the drive is dead, then that's a whole different. All right, let's just move the photo over a little bit. Hopefully, the photo is good. That's not our issue. Like that. Oh, we got all of these that are loose. All those pins are loose. So maybe that's an issue. I didn't check after doing the encoder. Okay, so they're let's check all of these way too much. That was way too much solder. It was just gonna cause bridging, and then I'd have to deal with that. No more. Let's use that to touch up all the other pins. We gotta clean up this. I don't know what's going on with these solder tips. They're brand new tips. Okay, let's test these pins and make sure that they're not. And this is why I didn't clean up until I know that the console is actually, and then I'll clean up. Got some bridging right there. And if you watch any of my other videos, you know that normally these repairs are not like this. Usually just solder HDMI port, done, gone. But for some reason, this one on my desk not not working like. So let's go from here. Press down firmly. It's a lot better right there. Better there. all the sides on here looks really, really good. So I think for this one, I'm hoping that it works. Kind of taking this apart, putting it back together, test it. All right. So hopefully it works, and that way we can just up, put this off to the side, and work on this other PS5 that was bug infested. How we can fix it, if we can even. Oh yeah, I have to order the power supply for it. So I gotta check what time is the cutoff time for it for order from this company. I want to get an order in before the cutoff time so I can get the part here tomorrow. That's what needed. I don't want to buy the part and this is a no fix. Even though I could use the part for another console later on. Uh, I don't know. I don't think I'm in the mood for that. But I could definitely use that power supply for something. I have other model of the power supplies, which is like BR 400, but this PS5 that's bug infested is the FR 400 um, power supply. Is the difference is where the actual board plugs into the power supply. So I don't think there's anything else that's different about it. It's the way the console is built, yes, but it's applying different. I don't know if anybody else does this. Whenever you go to touch these power supply, afraid to stick your hands in there and touch a capacitor or something, get a little buzz. Get a little buzz. I was trying to teach him how to repair these consoles, and his first thing that he thinks about is getting electrocuted. And I keep on telling him like, not as bad as you. Not like. I mean, it's like a nice surprise. That's how I think about it. It's like a nice surprise. Like, oh, whoa, kind of. He's thinking like instant death once it you get a little buzz. Like, dude, it's not like that. It's just careful of it, and that's it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's test this again. Let's hope for the best. Input did switch. We have white light, but we have no output of any video signal at all. We have the HDMI switches, and then that's it. So maybe these encoders that I'm using is bad. That's what I'm going to mark it up to because I don't see what else. I removed the short that was there on the HDMI line, and I'm still not getting any video. It's still behaving the same way, just turning on, get a steady white light, we get everything going, but we get no image. Console doesn't overheat. So I'm just gonna say probably the encoder is still bad. Get a good encoder. Because I did have a few consoles that was they would turn on, but it was just have issues. There's different issues with them. And oh man. From my experience, whenever I've seen a console with anything like that, it's usually encoder or HDMI port. As long as the console is turned on, my port. Which it's weird that we had a short on this line, but it was still. Like I said before, I'm not the best at these. I'm still learning. Every single time I open up one of these, I'm still learning. So I didn't expect the that short on the HDMI encoder. I didn't expect that line to be shorted like it was, but we did find it. That that's these that when we put up the board, none of the loose. Yep. So let's replace that encoder. Let's see if we can find another PS4 board with an encoder that we can pull. And these encoders end in 2.9. Okay, where the PS5 encoders end in 3.9. Don't get them confused. If you have an encoder that's for a PS4, it won't work for the PS5. I myself thought it would, and then I went to go try it, and it did. But I do believe the Slim and the regular PS4 encoders work are interchangeable, so you can use. So then let's go ahead and let's put some. Here didn't even look like they were connected. I believe that they were though. That up a little bit. That there won't be anything that's keep called lift motor when I put it down. Sometimes I've put them down and then one side is lifting a little bit, but I don't like using them until I am actually up because I'm fit. The pulled ones go on so nice, and our HDMI port is coming back out, so we're gonna have to float that back in place also. gonna have to add a little bit more heat to for it to get it back. Crazy because I do these repair on a base on like on a regular, and I don't usually have this much. Even like if you go back to any of my other videos, usually I don't have this much issue. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit before I actually try it up, or a little bit more. I'm gonna speed up the process with my with this little computer keyboard blower. Try to blow away or kind of cool it down a little bit quicker. I was actually looking at this called like a board. Oh, you just kind of sit the motherboard on it after you're done working on it, and it kind of has like a little fan that blows and kind of pour down for you. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now I guess the next step would be to actually do a proper job if this doesn't work and test all the pins and see what pin is out of its. We didn't put the drive in. We didn't have the hard drive in. And it's still we're still getting no image. So the next step would be try a different hard drive and see what happens. Yeah, it's going straight to the white light. Why that is. Not even going through like the boot because I don't feel a drive spinning up. That was what I was. That I don't feel that drive spinning. This one I feel spinning immediately when I put it in. I can feel the vibration. Maybe because maybe that drive is bad. I'm not sure. But I'm just looking for a picture on the screen. Let me know if that drive is bad. Still no picture on the screen. If no picture, HDMI port is not wiggling. Uh, so the next step would be now, since we've changed the encoder several times, and unless every single encoder that I've used so far is bad, uh, which I don't think so, then the next step would be diode each in and see what kind of reading I'm getting from it. Maybe one of the filters are blown. Don't know. Let's find out. Okay, because that is the next step. So okay, so let's check encoder's placement. Good. Good. It's sitting flat on the board. Good. Okay, so let's test here first where we had a short. No short. No short. Okay. Good there. It looks like it could be in a short, but I don't think so. Let's oh, we're good. Ground. Ground. That's not right. That one is good. That one is not. That one is not. So right here is not good. Reading a short. So is the those are all good. This one right here, no good. So let's see if maybe have some starter that's up the line that we're not seeing. Don't think so. Is it the encoder or is it the HDMI port? Yeah. What do you guys think it is? You think it's still the encoder or do you think HDMI port? We're gonna do the encoder first because I don't really have any more HDMI ports. I don't think. Plus, for me, the encoder is a lot easier to put on. Let's test again. We can test right here. And you can still see that it's short. So nope. I don't think that this of solder right here caused that. I could be wrong again. I'm just not getting it. So let's test the encoder that we just took off, and let's see if, so it's the top, once we flip it over here. Don't really see bridging. So this ground, I'm getting nothing. So was it that it was just touching? Is that what it was? I really, I'm like so right now, so confused. Just being honest with you guys, I'm so confused as far as what's causing like short. So let's put it back again. Let's test and see what happens. But here, gotta move it over still. So let's just move it over a little bit. All right, so let's test check all of them. I'm gonna do a reading on every single pin. Well, not every single pin, but the ones that I know that I need to test. Ground ones we won't test. 520. Going up because his port is still hot. Minus OL. So I'm getting a few open lines. So hard for me to get from. Okay, so the chip is a little crooked. having a fight right now. What about the sports staying in place? Okay, let's do some more reading and see what happens here. Or let's start over. That melting that plastic. Okay. Now, I know you're probably wondering, do I know what pin one? Yeah, Oscar, I just cleared. It looks like that, but it's not. It's not bridged. That's what I was just checking with the multimeter, just to make sure. There's no bridging there. I was just getting a reading the multimeter just to make sure. Just an update of what was going on. So this console was um, sent to me because I was told that it was overheating. So initially it came in for overheating. I checked it; it wasn't overheating. It just wasn't displaying an image. And I checked the encoder, changed the HDMI port, and then I found a short. What I found was on this side of the board. Diodes were shorted, so I replaced them from a donor board, and now we don't have the short. So that's cleared up. But what's happening is whenever I turn the console on, I'm getting it powers up, but I'm getting no display. Okay. This is like my fifth or sixth time today trying this console to see if everything is okay. This is the first time that I've actually uh, tested all the pins just to make sure. But yeah, Oscar, those are not shorted. I double checked just to make. I mean, sometimes we can easily look over those things and not notice the short, and that's what happened. I believe times overlooking it. And then I found out that that encoder, two of the encoders that I was using was actually, believe it or not, because I put them back on. One of them was put it from, I guess, the diode side. Um, sorry, the same line that those diodes were on. That the HDMI retimer motor or whatever you want to call it. That was it was shorted on those pins, and I tried to test the short to ground on the actual encoder. I didn't get it to read on the encoder, but still do believe that it is. All right, so the test. and now we're getting no power. So get something. Well, done with this console. Now it's not powering up, so that means that probably somewhere. Man. Oh, no wonder. Not powering up because the power button isn't connected up. No, Oscar, I wasn't checking for diode reading on the encoder. I was testing I was checking diode on the HDMI pins. So on the HDMI port, the pins on the back end of it, that's where I was reading, doing my diode reading. And I've already tried to put it in safe mode, Oscar, and I get nothing still in safe mode. And I'm still getting no image. So no image. Console turns on, but no image. White. It goes all the way to the white light. Still can't get an image. I still can't get an image from it. Yeah, I get white light, Oscar. I did test. I did. Uh, on no, I didn't check the encoder. What I didn't test. I didn't diode the encoder when it was off. Only when it's on the board, I tested. Like I said, but I checked underneath the encoder, and that's how I found the short that was on these diodes. Good there. Could touch these for a couple weeks. So I don't causing the problem. Could be, but I don't. But let's just touch them up. Let's clean the flux away because I can't really see what's going on there. I'm gonna still add some more that area. If I get like a little dome going on here. A little white light. Yeah, so I don't have any OL on any of them. They're all reading uh, like in a reasonable. I'm getting a reasonable reading from them. They're all within like 620. They were all reading about 6. Yeah, so they're reading good. Even if I check over here, and that's why I said I wish I had my other camera, but I don't have the stand for it. I brought it inside for my daughter to do her YouTube channel. Um, but we have like a YouTube channel where we do like game stuff like that. So I took it inside for that read. But if I read here, let's see. All right, so when I read, so I think I solved it. I think because does anyone have the diode readings for a PS4 board? I was in a group before that. I could get most of this stuff and lost my Facebook page. And since then, they haven't let me back in the group. This pin right here, third pin in. Does anybody know PS4 third pin in? What is the reading on that? Let me see if I have another board here that I can just kind of get a quick reading from. I don't know if it's a working board, but it doesn't hurt to try. If that's normal. Okay, so everything seems normal. I don't, like I said, I don't know if this is a working board, but I mean, unless it has an HDMI encoder issue also, it seems fine. This is the last time I'm going to work on this. After that, I'm going to move on to the other PS5, which is just turning on and then turning back off, and see if what I can find. It was bug infested, so problem could be, it could even be outrageous. I don't know yet. Yeah, I definitely checked that first. Definitely check that. Well, not first, but once everything wasn't working properly, and I had changed the HDMI encoder like 3 times, I went around and did a diode reading for all the lines going to the encoder. Yeah, I was definitely part of a group, and it was a lot easier to, like if you needed help. And then I just lost my Facebook page. Um, reach out to the Facebook page admin and whatnot, and they wouldn't let me back in. And I even said to the guy like, "Hey, I was part of the group before. Here's my name, and my name is still the same on Facebook. Just wouldn't let me back in." That's how it goes. It's like like as soon as the group grows, like these admin, I guess no, feel like they're in a position of power, so they don't, they pick and choose who they're gonna let in and work. Kind of like, but if you made a group for us to share information, you shouldn't be that picky as far as who you let in, as long as the person is productive to have all those in place where we um, you're in the industry, you're looking for help, not like I have a group with a lot of people now, so I'm gonna pick and choose who I let in. But it is what it is. I'm gonna try safe mode and see what happens. Okay, so that's safe mode. I heard the second beat. This thing should go into safe mode if everything is good with the encoder and the HDMI port. We should be in safe mode, and we should be seeing picture. Still no picture. Still no image. So what else could be going on? What else could be causing no image on a PS4? It's not. I mean, it could be, but I, I've had that before. But usually, even if it is a little bit dirty, and I'll show you that right now, even if it is a little bit dirty, what usually happens is you're still able to get like something from it for you inside this port. I have to put my what the inside of the port looks like. That's the inside of the port. And the back side of the port, yeah, it has flux on the back side of the port, but I don't think that's the issue. Hold on, that might be the wife that texts me. Okay, so it's not the HDMI port, not the encoder. So here's another thing, Oscar. What's happening is when I connect up the HDMI cable, it sees that there's an HDMI cable up and it switches input. Um, but that's all it does. And from my experience, whenever that's happened, it's always been the same thing, encoder or some the encoder or the port. Whenever I've seen it on like PS5, it's been an encoder issue. Uh, don't know as for what else could possibly be bad that's causing that. I'm not sure if those are maybe those are resistors and or filters and they're also blown. And I'm surprised that the fuse wasn't blown. That's what I'm also this fuse right here. I'm surprised this wasn't blown. This be bad? That's this. And yeah, I know this board is not a working board. Probably wondering why I'm using as components. But it seems like this is working the way it's supposed to. What about this one? Okay, so I'm getting a reading from that component. I'm not sure what it is. Uh, let's check on another board. Okay, so let's check on this board again. And the only reason why I'm checking this component is because if I flip the board over, it's in the same area, everything else that I'm working on. Because of that, oh well, oh well. So this might be bad also. This component might be bad. Because I'm getting on both of these other boards, I'm getting a reading from that component, but on this board, I'm not getting a reading from it. At least not one that's okay. So let me get this other board and see what else happens. Like I said, these boards are all different. But it just gives me, this is how I work. It just gives me a general idea of what's supposed to be these. That way the board is not so high. All right, so that's the component right. That's this that I was just checking over there. One is also reading OL. Like I said, this component is still on the HDMI encoder line, but this might be reading OL because it's not connected up to anything. This one is, and it's not reading. So I think I'm going to change the component right, which if you follow it, the track on this here, here, and then it goes here, and then through the hole goes to the other side of the board. So let's change that over and see what happens. Um, Oscar, this model is SAF 004. This one. That one we're gonna switch. We're gonna take out. do need a smaller tip for this, but you know what? Let's do a reading on here and see what happens right now while that comes off. And we're getting a reading. Okay. So that component might actually be that. Okay, we can touch these up a little bit. And usually I don't throw out these boards because once I take components off, I still can use the board to read, right? Because let's say I take a component off and I want to know if that component is actually reading the way it's supposed to. I still can do that because I can test the actual board for resistance without the component. Because once I remove the component, at the bottom of the screen are two followed by a diode. One of these, so those resist. They could be, yes, which are the ones that you see right now, these two. I was thinking that, but I don't know. I don't know. Both reading OL. Not even giving me actually the board that we're just started those components from. Six, 196. That's what I'm getting from those resistors. 196. Right now, as I'm reading them, OL. This one is reading. One right here reads. Sometimes it was only reading because the board was heated up. Might be right, Oscar. See, I'm gonna do one more reading on them. 2K resistance. It seemed to be reading 2K. You can double check that, Oscar. Yeah, yeah, I got 2K for them. But I like I said, I just replaced this component right here, Oscar, and maybe that will do it. I'm not sure. This one right here, it wasn't reading. It was just OL. I saw it. It was just OL the whole time. or as far as when I read it. Well, so since I've replaced it, hoping that it's reading properly. Okay, so here, I gotta read it. Okay, on the other one, which is this one right here, on the desk, and all I did was just measure 2 pins, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, "How did you know that it was a bad component?" And all I did was maybe now it'll work properly because it's out of the circuit. But I touch this pin and this pin, I get OL, open line. One in this, I get 4.7. But I turn it around, just not just still getting OL on that line. So maybe that was the issue. I don't know. I mean, there could be so many other components that's bad on this board. I don't even know. And I said I was gonna stop, but see, this is my obsession. What happens is when I run into a brick wall, I just continue to hit my head against that wall over and over again until I solve it or I'm burnt out. And then when I'm burnt out, it'll be like a few days before I'm like gets charged up to work on another console or work on something else because I just it maybe I don't know very doubtful if that's what you want to call it or what, but I don't want to work on anything unless it's like super easy. I guess maybe that's just my way of dealing with. And now I know that it's not the drive, so I'm not even gonna try to eliminate the drive and issue. Let's say the drive is fine until I get it working. If I get a console working and I find it, but for now I'm gonna say the drive is working perfectly. So do you fix consoles also, Oscar? Or what do you do? I have a lot of knowledge concerning this stuff. Okay, what did I do with the power supply? Throw it away? I have oh nice. I'm trying to get into the GPU space. I just haven't gotten enough of them to repair to actually I do have one, man. If you want, I can send it to you, Oscar. If you have my email should be somewhere in actual video. You want to send me your address, man, and I'll send you this that I have. And if you can fix it, man, I pay you to fix it. If you have the time and you're not busy, let me know. Just send me an email, and I can send it over to you, man. I think I probably have another one after this one, fix it that I can send you to also work on. Right? Doesn't seem like it's working. Oh, because it's already at the white light, and I have nothing, which is really strange that this console just goes to the white light. Like it it doesn't even pulsate. It just kind of goes straight to the white light. Right, I'm trying to boot it into safe mode. Already in safe mode. Be really crazy that it went to safe mode that quick. Usually it takes a little bit of time before they go into safe mode. Straight into safe. Oh man, yeah, that really sucks, man. We're here. Definitely would be nice, man, to send you some stuff. All right, so that was the exact same, except for it didn't bother reading the hard drive. It just goes straight to the white light. That's why I'm changing out the drive to see. So it change input. Check cable connection is setting your first device. Blah. Let the blue light. Blinking, blinking, checking the hard drive. But normally it would show something on the screen right now. But let me see if I can take some voltage on this battery. I think I'm missing my 5-volt power rail. Got 5 volt. You have the 5-volt power rail going. Computer checked it and 2.425. have a 5 volts, we have a 3 volt power rail, but we're still not getting any Biggle test. HDMI port is not doing anything. It's not changing. Nothing. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't think I have the. There is a free UART software out there, um, but I don't think I have the paid one that everybody was making a fuss about a while ago. I don't. I don't have the one for the PS4. I have the one for that I paid. I haven't been using it though because I just just kind of like a quick fix on these consoles. I haven't been spending much time trying to get that stuff done, especially on a PS4 here in the states. I mean, you're not going to get paid that much money to work. Sometimes it's not worth it. Like right now, me spending all this time is just more for content. It's not necessarily because I'm going to make a lot of money off the PS4. I have like two PS4s for sale that I can't uh, sell. Not that I can't, but I haven't sold yet. I'll make too. Okay, let's take one quick up the other side. Faster that I could have up some of these other board. Right, so let's clean up and then yeah, let's just clean up the board a little bit and do what Oscar said. Maybe there is some flux that's stuck in between. Yeah, but like I was telling the other shop before, the way this console is acting, I don't really think something else is going on. I want to say it's like a G, but I'm not 100% like it. That's why I haven't fully confirmed with the shop. Like, hey, yes, I know for sure that something with it. Because I don't know how it would act if um, damage or where would I check that, Oscar? Because I would assume that it is. And the reason why I say that is because so when I first turn it on, my TV set to um, computer monitor, and as soon as I turn on the console, it's so that just means that it is receiving that volt at 1.9, or that chip wouldn't even. all these filters, but I think the filters were good. If not, would have had OL at the port. All right, guys. Really and truly, this is the last shot on this. I spent so far 2 hours on this, and I think I've learned a lot, but not enough to keep making that time. I have learned enough to put it up. Final test, then we'll move on to the, and then I'll probably work on the PS5 for probably about maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and then go from there. I think, and then we'll work tomorrow. We'll work on the Oculus. We have an Oculus, so tomorrow we'll work on the Oculus, which has no power, which is different. I first said it. Their kid was using it, fell off their face, and never turned back on. What do you think could be wrong with that? That's causing it not to turn on after. Whatever ideas you guys have, you can put it below. Let me know. Oscar, I don't know if you have any ideas on what that could be. That's Oculus not to turn on an hour. Fell on the floor. I don't know how the battery's seated in the Oculus. Battery is loose from the drop. That's possible. Yeah, I think something else console. I definitely think something else is going on. And I don't know what it is. I don't know where the problem is. Try safe mode. That's the second beep. Safe mode. And we get no safe mode. So in safe mode, we would at least get something if we had image problem solved. Safe mode would definitely give us, an option to reset the console or so on and so forth. So we're going to put this up to the side for now, and yeah, let's move on. Okay, so what I want to try is on this PS5, not that one, this one. I have already tried to turn it on using my DC power supply, and when I did, uh, let's find out the positive and the negatives on this power supply before I go and plug it into the console. So we have, so over here is positive. So positive, negative. So I'm just gonna make a little scratch on the positive side. That way I know. Make a plus mark. So then when I'm because like I said, I don't have the correct power supply for this console. The positive of this one is over here. You would have to turn it around this way. Plug in because the positive is over here. So because I don't have the correct power supply, I just took another PS5 power supply and I'm going to use it, hopes that I can get the console to turn on. I just need it. If I see the white light goes on and off again, then that just lets me know that this console work, which I'm okay with. I just want to know before I go buy a power supply for it, and more than just a power supply. Because like I said, it was bug infested. Bug infested. They can be really, really bad. I actually have a pinout tester that I mean, I can use that to see if I'm getting all the voltage there, but I don't know if that's going to change anything because even if I'm getting all the voltage and I'm still running into a problem with it, what am I going to do? And I think that's what's going to happen is I'm going to find out that I have all my voltage on the HDMI line, and still not getting it. But we can try that tomorrow. Definitely can try it. Okay, so here it is. Oh, it's fully turning on. Oh, that's okay. All right. So this PS5 is actually working. One that's bug infested. It actually powers on. Yep, it's fully turning on. Okay, all right, cool. So that so this one needs a power supply, which we'll go ahead and order now. Actually, before they close order, maybe it's already too late. Find out. FR 400. Yep, so this is working fine. So we'll just finish cleaning up this one. It's trust me, this one is pretty bad when it comes down to bugs. I thought about that, Oscar, but because the price of them is not really, I mean, to buy a new one is 36 bucks, right? And if I was to take it apart, the risk of playing around with a power supply for the for $36, I could buy another one. I don't think the risk to reward is worth it. Um, because I don't for 36 bucks I can just replace it. I mean, so the risk to reward is not worth it for me. It could be, but like I said, it's bug infested, so the problem could be anywhere. It probably is a resistor because the roaches go towards it. It's either that or a capacitor, but I don't feel like it's worth it. My opinion, at least. I know there's people out there that fix these power supplies, and I could fix it. I fixed them before. I just don't think it's worth it. If they were like 150 bucks or something crazy like that, then yeah. But for $36, I can buy another one. Risk reward, risk of me getting electrocuted. Not that it's gonna really hurt me that bad, but it's like buy a resistor, replace it, solder, the time that it takes. I'm trying to think what else I might need, so I'm not just overnighting one item. You know what? Let's order an HDMI encoder. Let's just order one. And we're just gonna check out and have them overnight it. Yeah, we should be able to get it. Let's just order this. Like I said, tomorrow we'll work on the Oculus. Because it only makes more sense to just work on the Oculus tomorrow. I don't think it goes out this order. Okay, so we placed the order already for that power supply. I can't think of what else I might need to order, but I mean, like I said, it's just very strange with this PS4 that no matter what I try, I'm not getting any from it. I've never seen one like that before. And where, Oscar, do you know where on the backside of the board that I could find the actual? You know what? Let me see if I can find my tool. Oh, and we have these headphones that we have to work on too. But I don't order issue because there's no way that all those boards that I'm pulling coders from are all bad. The chances of that happening is so small, it's just crazy. So I'm gonna use the pinout board. I don't know what is supposed to be 5 voltage and what's supposed to actually voltage when the console is. But either way, I'm just gonna test them and see what we get. Uh, I could show you guys what's happening. Let's just have 3 volts. So the only voltage I found with the console off is a 3 volt line. Went ahead and turned it on. 3 volts, 5 volts. Yeah, so I have 3 volts, 5 volts, 5 volts. So pin 16 is 5 volts, 5 volts. I have another PS4 that I'll use. I have a I have on the back side, I have 3 volts and 5 volts. The same thing that I have on the pin out. I don't see the power with. Three. Yeah, so I have a 3.3, a 5 volt, and that's what I have on the back. I don't see a 1.8. I don't know where the 1.8 volt is. Oscar. Yeah, I don't see any that that 1.8 or 1.9. Yeah, I don't see that 1.9 volt. What would be producing that 1.9 volt? Yeah, that. So the feeling that I'm having is that the H is that the APU is not good. That's the problem that I'm thinking is that it's not good. So I think the diode that you might be speaking of is, let me just take this apart real quick. But I don't know how I would test that, considering that the side of the console that it's on, right, should be on the side where the HDMI encoder is on. So is it the? Are you talking about the center of the Panasonic chip? That I thought that was ground. Yeah, I thought the center of the that chip was a ground pad, a huge ground pad. So how would I be able to read from the center of it? Oh, the corner to the corner. Okay, okay. I misread that. Sorry. So the corner that the diode is on, you're saying might have an issue. Find that, and then maybe I can just test and see what's going on with. So I'm just gonna assume that you're talking about right here, that right there, and if I flip the board over, I think it's this right here, this line right here. Because when I flip it over, not here. Okay, so this is what you're. Fine. Yeah, so I didn't receive 1 point. Said 1.9. I don't think it was on reader. Which if I plug the reader back in, would have been like pin 10. No, I didn't see the voltage there. But like I said, when if the chip, Panasonic, okay, you're talking about here. There is no diode over here. There's these pads right here. Comes into the P. But there's nothing else. I thought you might be talking about this diode. Sense. Corner has a big. Oh, you're talking about here? Okay. And so let me flip over the board. Yeah, I can't close. there's supposed to be 1.9 volt there, right? Okay. Uh, let's let's put a wire then. All right. Guess if we that's a lot of solder for no solder blob. Wire I put there should work. Uh, have some wires cut up and ready to go. The old school way. Another small wire. We're about to find out, Oscar. Look, wait a minute. Okay, right there. And we're gonna just fish it through right here. Hopefully it doesn't break off, and we can test it. Let's. Oh, be a tight squeeze. We don't think this console. The only reason why I even came back to this console is because the PS5 is the PS5 is working. So if not, I would have just. I'm done. I'm gonna only work on the PS. But I know that the PS5 is near power supply. Uh, been ordered. All we gotta do is just wait. Got to come. Now, do you know if we need the HDMI cable connected up, Oscar, in order to get that vote? Sometimes I know you have to actually have a source or some kind for it to for that line to be almost like a current sensing line. Something plugged up there, so it needs to. Okay, and we're just to make sure that this wire doesn't end up somewhere it's not supposed to. I'm just gonna twist it onto my positive side of my. If I can make it, put it right here where we have to screw this thing in. Okay, so let's. What else do we? Power supply. That in. Oscar, if we don't have that line, is that definitely means the APU has an issue. Which I think, like I said before, I think that's why the console originally came in was because it was, which means that probably the person just kept going at it while it was overheating over and over again. Possibly getting that line. Let's find. Plug back in. Sure. Yep. So we have our voltage there, Oscar. It did start off at 1.9. Let me. Kind of turn this over. Let's see. Get a good. And there we go, Oscar. So we do have 1 volt there. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. Okay, but if that's, I understand that it's repairable because obviously the console is turning on, but where does the problem lie? Right? So we've pretty much repaired everything on the HDMI encoder line. Maybe it's just something I have to think on. Maybe that's what it is because it doesn't make any sense that. Uh, yeah, but if it's, I've tried 3 of them so far. Okay, well, I order another one for tomorrow, which is brand new. So when the new one comes in tomorrow, we can try that one. And if that's the case, then that means that all of these are bad, which I've already tried. I thought so, but it's just how are you gonna find a small component? I mean, even with a thermal camera, because I don't think it's getting hot. I've tested all around the HDMI port. I don't find anything that's in a short circuit. Everything that I did find that seemed like it was reading abnormal, I have replaced. Those resistors, like we talked about, I've tested them, and those resistors are fine also. Those are not the issue. All the solder is fine. HDMI port, um, everything that I'm reading from it is okay. I had some inconsistency. The actual the pinout for the HDMI port. That's about it. Where normally they all read about the same value. Ones were off by like 5 or 10, which I thought was okay. So they were just barely off. So I didn't think that was a huge problem. wire. Double check, make sure. I just is that a wire and it's not supposed to be a wire. Over here, okay, a wire, right? Right, let me put the cord back up before I lose it. That's 5 volt. Now you got me wanting to solve this, Oscar. Like so, it's off by almost not normal. I know that for sure. Because if I go check if I go check any other regular board, I'll buy that one. By like a I'm gonna pull the HDMI port off. Just to pull it off. I don't think it's gonna solve anything, but I'm just gonna pull it and see if I get regular reading. Like I said, I don't believe that that's gonna solve anything. Okay? And then we're just gonna measure the port out. Port is still warm, but I just want to measure it out. Getting closer. Five nine. Let's clean up this area because I don't know what's going on with it. Oscar is right, and all these that I've changed out is all bad. 5 5. Still getting 5 4. So this one is 5 5 7. This one is 5 7 5. So 15 encoder, No nozzle. Off. With the encoder off. Good for reading. All of it is OL. Okay. Oh, all OL. So maybe the encoder is bad. Okay. Maybe the encoder is bad. Yeah, no, they were like for instance, the ones to the left was like 526. The ones in the middle. So here we had like 526, and then we had like 5 7, like 557 here, and then like 524 something like that, and then we had like 575 over here. Yeah, it yeah. So the wasn't about the pair because the pairs were okay. It was just that they were getting like really ridiculous numbers. So if I take like let's say this board and it's pretty much the exact same. I'm gonna read so 558, 558. So this stops reading at 558. No, no. So 557. Okay. This one is seven something. So this one kind of give you the idea that most of them are in close, really close to each other. But what I was getting was like ridiculous far off readings. Weren't close. So let's try it on here. 569, 569, 570. So that's 580. But that's even better than what was happening before. No, no, the couples I've already checked that part, Oscar. The couples are not the issue. The issue was, let's say I read this one, and this one is 568. I'd go to this one, and it'd be like 524, right? And then I'd go to this one, and it'd be like 534. That was what I was reading on that board. Whereas this one, and this one is pretty close to each other. This one is a little bit higher, 570, and this one is 586. This one on the other board weren't that close. 702. They're all in the 700 range. So I'm gonna take this chip off and try it on that board. I've already invested this much time in it. Oscar, you're here with me along for the ride, so yeah, I know about the pair. I know how the pair works, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't about the pair. It was just that it wasn't working. They weren't even when they were right next to each other. They weren't close. Like the reading was not close at all. But you're talking about these ones right here are within like 15 to 20 of each other. This one is like, I mean, 520 something compared to like six something. Right, so I think all we got to do now is a little flux, and then we'll just kind of press this down. And I'm going to use the back of my tweet to help me press down. Yeah, and double check. Okay, that looks okay to me. Ah, forgot that it was hot. Okay, and now we'll just put the HDMI like no, I don't have an oscilloscope. I thought about buying one, but the use cases that I'm going to need it for, if I have to keep using like, it goes back to the not the risk and reward on this one, but the time that you're going to take to repair something like that. Like if it's a GPU, I understand why you need one, right? But for repairs like this, once you start pulling out tools like that, like I've already spent 3 hours. If I have to pull out oscilloscope and check every single line, you just start spending so many hours working on things that you're not making enough money to keep on working on something for 4 to 5 hours. If it's just like for content, then okay. But you're not. I don't know how to explain it. But no, I don't have a. But I have thought about buying one several times, and I just said no. I'm not. Maybe I should have bought PS4 8 boards, but worst case from one of the other boards because it doesn't seem like I have PS4 8. I have um, a lot more PS5 HDMI ports. A lot more. And I don't even know if I could add it to the order, so it would just be like a no go. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've thought about them. I've seen a few small portable ones, and I thought about buying a portable. Do you have a portable one, or what kind do you use? All right, let's just yank. Let's just get one of these other boards. Wow. You know what? Let me see if I can add it to my order. Let me try. Oh yeah, I still have 51 minutes. Okay, so I think I have 6 minutes. We'll just buy four of them. Let's see if it'll add it to my order. So it did let me add it. This to me. We're still gonna yank one, but I'm trying to pay for this order. That way I can get this. I don't think they want to let me. It's so funny. It's not letting me check out. It's not letting it. It's like their system is already shut down, so it's like acting real slow. I'm still stuck waiting. got 2 minutes and I'm stuck on. Yeah, I can't check out. Froze up on me. It won't let. Okay. Yeah, I can't check out. Crazy. The whole system. So should have just called them. I should have called. You can buy one on Amazon for $9. Oh man, crazy. So yeah, let's just yank one off this board in 10. That's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna have dinner. Let's yank from this board. Nice clean removal. Like I said, I'm not really gonna be fussy about this one. This is the actual customer's board. our best. Put some. I'm just filling the hole with some solder. How that looks. That looks perfect. Complaints, right? For a pin test. And let's see moving. Now let's do a diode reading and let's see if we get a better reading than before, right? Because like I said, the numbers are like really crazy. Let's see. So 548. Yeah, the numbers are 550, 580, 5. Hold on a second. That seems this one and this one. Okay, that's good. All right, another shot. Let's see what happens. I mean, that's all I can do at this point. I have given up. The no fix. Somebody else can try for a few hours. Maybe they'll. I don't know. But I think I've made myself feel bad enough not fixing this to continue. That's the sound of bitter tea. I hear you. Okay, so let's try again. In there. Try it again. Nope, 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 nope. Still nothing. I don't see anything wrong. At least not that I can see. I mean, like I said, this could be an issue, right? So you have a bad drive and for whatever reason it doesn't want to boot. Apple full. But I don't think that's the case here. Yep, nothing. No safe mode. Nothing. It could even be a bad the crystal outbridge could be bad. It could be causing it to uh like that BIOS strip or whatever it is for it. Also be that. And it needs to replace the clock. That could be it. But either way, Oscar, I appreciate you hanging out with me, man, for hours, man. I really do appreciate it. My information is below, Oscar. If you have a YouTube channel or anything like that, man, I'd like to subscribe, see what you're doing, um, follow, and just kind of link up together, bro. So I appreciate you stopping by, Oscar. Um, if you hit the like button, hit the like button. If you want to sub, go ahead and sub, man. And I'll catch you next time, Oscar. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone.